more and more weakness, politically discredited, hated around the world. Whereas Russia, as we've seen, is building up very significant cruise missile forces, ICBMs. We can talk about that at some length. So I submit that this is the main thing that could have happened on 9/11 that didn't happen. And if you pick up a book about 9/11 that doesn't talk to you about the Bush-Putin phone call, any Russian experts, they'll tell you this was an absolute revolution in Russian foreign policy, never before seen, to let the U.S. into Central Asia, or what they call the near abroad, the former Soviet space. So here we have this gang of desperados once again. Again, she was found, Abel Danger found that she was a security risk because she was dealing with China, making money that way. And then the part of it was shut down that had to do with her. Okay, so we know that since, well, let's just keep it short, since November 2005, we're under Con Plan 8022-22, and that is called global nuclear sneak attack. At any time, as General Carlson of the 8th Air Force said last year, the B-52s are essentially on alert. That is, under the preemptive plan that they brought in September 2002, the preemption means you've got to be able to deliver nuclear explosives to any part of the globe, anytime. And we're ready, says General Carlson. Global strike. They don't call it nuclear sneak attack or worldwide nuclear Pearl Harbor against everybody. They call it global strike. Hair trigger on nuclear war. And again, this is it is actually technically activated in August, but then formally, officially activated in November. They're ready to go. Here's the general who will do it. And it's amazing. Look at the power wielded by this person. Who's ever heard of him? General Chilton. Who would know? Where are the journalists? Where's the vigilant media that point to the rogue government cockroaches in this or that angle of the Pentagon? Now, everybody knows this one, I hope, since the end of July, we've been on the verge of attacking Iran, we, the United States. Cheney has tasked Stratcom with drawing up a contingency plan in response to another 9/11 type terrorist attack on the United States. Now, he does not believe in LIHOP. He believes in MIHOP. He believes in making it happen on purpose. Cheney is not going to sit around doing rain dances until another terrorist attack somehow materializes out of the stratosphere. He is going to make it happen, clearly. So again, this is where if you have not advanced to the level of MIHOP, you're vulnerable. You're basically for the slaughter. The plan includes a large-scale air assault on Iran with conventional and tactical nuclear weapons, 450 major targets. The reasoning of the neocons is they say, well, in Iraq, the attack went well, the occupation went badly. Let's just have an attack with no occupation. Punitive expedition, nuclear bombing, a certain amount of special forces go in, blow things up, get out, no occupation. Air Force officers are appalled, but they're not going to do anything to damage their careers. Right? The American conservative back in August. So since August 1st at the latest, we're on the brink of a nuclear conflagration because they managed to kill some Russians or Chinese, and you'll see how it takes off. Now, at a conference at American University back in July, we talked about these issues, right? Saying, well, if we know that terrorism comes through drills, let's start looking ahead at the drills, not backwards, but prospectively. Let's see what drills are coming down the road towards us. Well, we identified one called Sudden Response 05, headquarters Fort Monroe, Virginia. That's where that General Burns had been kicked out. And we had these groups, the Total 411 information. I recommend this one. It's the most dramatic. If you want to find out what's going on in the drill world, try this one. It's kind of the tabloid headline version. If you want the absolute encyclopedic detail, try Team 8+. I'm on Cloak and Dagger DE once a week, every Thursday. Yes, thank you. I even have listeners. And I think you may have to pay something for that, right?
$30 6 months.
$30? Well, anyway, this is what I have. There's some wild guys coming on there, but I can't be responsible for what other people say. I try to be responsible for what I say. We had on Rents, on WBAI, Maria Heller, if you know her, and the Sarah McLendon Study Group. Sarah McClendon's study group still goes on even though she's no longer with us. There was a firestorm on the internet. What was the firestorm? Well, it was that this drill had a nuclear component at the center of it, Sudden Response 05, and this force, there was so much hysteria in Charleston, South Carolina, that the Post and Courier of August 15th said, it stirred up folks all over the low country worried that nuclear fallout could seriously ruin their weekend. In other words, when people were told that there was going to be a drill, and the premise of the drill was a nuclear bomb going off in their area, they said, we don't want it. Most people will respond this way. And they can be peaceniks, they can be environmentalists, they can just be local, you know, not in my backyard, local activists. Just about anybody would say, no, I don't want it. So this drill was supposed to start on the 18th. It was postponed. On the 19th, it was postponed again. And on the 20th, it was canceled. So there is a concrete example of citizen activism shutting down a dangerous, useless, expensive drill.
We actually got a call on C-SPAN. Stop it.
You brought it up on C-SPAN. Fantastic.
We did it on C-SPAN, and we also did it on the Art Bell show.
Wonderful. I can wrap up now quickly, I think. This was the idea. It was a 10-kiloton nuclear detonation on the coast of the Carolinas. There was also kidnapping congressmen at Fort Bragg. How about that? Congressmen volunteered to be kidnapped as part of the drill. Would these guys, would they resist a coup, or would they just say, here, take me away?
The Republicans or Democrats?
I think both. I think a bipartisan group. No? There was a movie about this, Special Bulletin. Anybody remember it? 1983? This time it was a bomb from a peacenik, I think, wanted to.
It was in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay. And here's the precious quote. Each time we do one of these exercises, we try to make it more robust, and we try to add infidelity. So you tell me what maximum fidelity is. Here's the problem of the gas dispenser in Manhattan. Where the gas is going to go, you don't want to know. Shut it down. Bush on August 13th, it keys in perfectly with these dates that I've been giving you. All options are on the table vis-a-vis Iran. Right? I will attack when I wish to. And there he is. Putin says, look, you know, you're lowering the threshold of nuclear weapons. That's dangerous because somebody may feel tempted to use nuclear weapons. And if that happens, because the U.S. is supposedly going to be using mini nukes on Iran, you might get a nuclear conflict, and that's very dangerous. Now, this is a very responsible and understated way of saying, you know, I have nuclear forces that are actually more than yours. Right? Mine's bigger than yours, so don't start this. The war on terror, I don't know, this is sort of the reductio ad absurdum. This is a Chechen murderer, Elias Akhmadov, who lives practically in my neighborhood. He's in Washington, D.C. He's getting a stipend from the State Department. He gets a secretary, an office, a stipend, a nice apartment, and his claim to fame is killing women and children at a hospital in Chechnya in 1995. He's now on the public payroll. In other words, Kandi pays Akhmadov. The Russians have asked him to be extradited, but they won't. Okay, now Stratcom. Ooh, maybe this will be worth it. Now we have to minimize. Let's see if we can do it technically. For you. If it works, maybe not, huh?
You just have to slide short part.
Is it complex? Okay.
All right.
Now here we are in the Pentagon. Now this is one of the people on Team 8 Plus was able to find this. So here's the Strategic Command, right? The nuclear bombs, joint exercise briefing from about a year ago. Can you try down? Down one? Try down again.
That was right here. You went down?
Well, no, do whatever's working. Do whatever's working. Okay. Look, notice they go by fiscal year. Don't be fooled, right? Don't do calendar year. Do fiscal year. And you can see all the stuff they do. It's color-coded. You notice that this is distributed pretty much through the year. Seems to be fairly equitably distributed. I think that was the main thing I wanted to show with this. But now let's look at